Hi, welcome to Living as Latinas. I am Jaquita and I have my co host here, Audi.
Hello.
So, with everything going on around us, it can be really difficult sometimes to be in the moment and appreciate the good things in life. This week's episode, we will discuss little ways to change your life to help you appreciate it more. Listen and learn as we discuss this week how to add value to your life without adding money 2020. So, Audi, what are some ways you've been able to add value to your life?
I think that in the last 8 to 9 months, since the whole crazy pandemic and all of that started, I think that what I've been doing differently to add value is finding meaning embedded in myself in a different way that I used to before. For example, I started meditating. I never did that before. I never knew what it was or how to do it. And once I started, I found that it was actually um, bettering my life in general. I was
Mm-hmm.
more calm. I was able to, go through everything that was going on around me in a calm way, which is new to me. If you know me, I'm more, you know, or I used to, I should say, not anymore. Um, and I think that in turn, that also has I don't feel I don't have a way of knowing that, but I think I know that that has also better my health, because the way I see it, if I'm freaking out and worrying about all of these things, I might start to get, I don't know, issues with high blood pressure, or I don't know, anything like that. Now I feel more calm. I feel collected.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, okay, I assess the situation. I let it go. I think about it, and then I react, which is a whole new level of being to me.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Jaquira, was I went back to reading books, or I should say, listening to them. And I think that that just brings joy to my life. And it makes me feel like I'm doing something for myself. I'm doing something that I like to do. I'm learning about all of these weird different things that I'm interested in now. And I think that um, adds value, a different type of value to my life, something that I wasn't paying attention before. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
cool.
That's really good. I definitely can second that with the reading the books. It's something that I've tried to get used to or tried to incorporate back into my life.
Hmm.
And it's something that we do take for granted. Like there's so much knowledge out there. There's so many things that you can learn from someone else's experience, from, just so many things that you could change in your life, and reading about it and teaching others those skills as well, or talking about it with your friends is so much better. It definitely adds value, definitely. And I think something else that I have been trying to do is getting to know my neighbors. So for me, like, I moved into this neighborhood probably 2.5 years ago, and where I lived before in New Hampshire, it was a very close knit community. It was like a little circle. So everybody used to know each other and all the neighbor kids played with each other. And when I moved here, there wasn't really that camaraderie. I didn't know the neighbor's kids. I didn't know my neighbor's name or all that kind of stuff. So what I've tried to do is actually make that effort, and I think, it starts with all of us, because if we don't put in the effort to get to know our neighbors and have those conversations with them, and, how are you doing? How's your mom doing? What are you like, what are you cooking today? Or, how are the kids? How are they doing in school? What's going on? They all go to the same schools, you know, and have them play together, that's definitely changed. Um, it definitely adds because, when you're outside, sometimes you're stressed out. Sometimes you need somebody to talk to. So you go outside your house and you're sitting out there in the porch and you're by yourself and you see your neighbor and they're gonna know. They're gonna be like, hey, what's going on?
Is
How are
everything
you?
okay?
Yeah, and that's definitely important. It's important to have those connections with people around, and it definitely makes you feel good to be able to talk to other people and be on the same level.
Yeah. And, that was actually the first thing that I noticed when I moved from the Dominican Republic to the United States, the fact that people were so distant.
Hmm.
I was used to just exactly what you described, being in my neighbor's house, like early in the morning, bothering them, and listening to the adults talking about, oh, I didn't cook beans. Oh, I did just, I'll give you some, and then the other one will give the other one something else. And it was really different when I moved here. I That was the first thing I noticed, because I didn't know the neighbors for like the longest time. And I'm talking about years.
Hmm.
And we've been in this house for more than 20 years. And I tell you that I only know one family. And that is really sad. That I really know, like I know their names, and what happens and all of these things. Everybody else,
Hmm.
and it's not necessarily because people move in and out. No,
Hmm.
because there's some people that have been living here for that long,
Hmm.
and I see them. I know who they are. I
Hmm.
know where they live, but I don't know anything about them, and that is sad. And also, like, if you think about like everything that is going on right now, if it would be nice if you saw the ambulance, for example, at your neighbor's house, or if it was in your house and you had people paying attention, and making sure that you're okay if you need help. Because we usually think about, family members, but not all family members live near or
Hmm.
close, And so that is, those are your family members, the
Yeah.
people that live next to you, which is something to think about. And now you're giving me homework. Now I would have to, I don't know, bake cookies or something, and be like, I know you moved here like 100 years ago, but let me just introduce myself.
No, and I think we take that for granted, definitely, because like they're so, like when you move into a neighborhood, somebody leaving cookies in a card, like whew, that just, gives you such good vibes and makes you feel so good. And you're like, oh, this was a good idea to move here. But when you don't have people to talk to, when you don't know your neighbors, you don't know who's going in and out of that home, what's going on, it can be really scary, I think, too. And so you
Yeah,
just want to make sure you know what's going on. You're
I
living there.
agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find courage to start doing that. I don't promise anything, but I'll try my best.
And another thing I would say that that adds definitely value, I would say, is just being able to learn something new, work on a hobby, doing different things that you enjoy, like painting, um, whatever it may be, whatever you think of that you enjoy, whether it's writing a book, whether it's exercising is a hobby, whatever, just get into something, take care of yourself, do those little things that really matter to you because they definitely add to your life. So.
Definitely. And people usually, when they think about these things, 5 minutes of me um watering the plants, or writing, or listening to music, or anything like that, because it's only 5 minutes a day, people don't think that it can make a difference. But think about it, 5 minutes multiplied by how many days a week, how many, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So in the long run, the way that I think about it is, it's not 5 minutes of me doing something fun for myself or feeling good about myself. it's more 5 minutes that I'm not thinking about something that doesn't serve me, right? It's
Mhm.
5 minutes that I'm not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Mhm.
And that is a lot
Mhm.
when you think about it.
I'm definitely one of those people that talks to their plants.
Oh, you should. They grow faster.
I sing to them, all that good
You're the
stuff.
best. You're helping them. I promise you. There was like a study about it, and they actually proved that it helped,
Mhm. Yeah,
which is
you should see my money
beyond.
tree. I'm very, very, very in love with my money tree.
That's so funny. What is a money tree?
It's kind of like a bonsai tree, but the
Oh,
leaves are different.
okay.
Yeah. They're hard to take care of, just like bonsais too. I feel like they're harder to take care of. You have to nourish it and talk to it. And
That is really cool that you do that because you're also teaching your kids indirectly, right?
mhm,
They're seeing you, they're listening to you, then they probably think you're crazy. Let's just face it, right? But then they're gonna find themselves doing the same thing.
yeah. A few years from now, I'm gonna be laughing when they have plants and they start talking to them.
Exactly. You're gonna be like, oh, who's the crazy one now,
I know,
huh?
right?
That is cool. So something else, Jackie, that adds value that I've been actually thinking a lot about is working on strained relationships. And something to think about is, if the relationship is abusive or anything like that,
Mhm,
obviously that
mhm,
is something else, another topic. But regular relationships, I think it's really important to work on them because sometimes the decision is, you and I, we don't click. We can't be in a, romantic relationship or a friendship or anything like that. But that doesn't mean that it needs to end bad.
mhm,
It
mhm,
doesn't mean that I have to have bad feelings when I think about you, or you have bad feelings when you think about me. And I think that that is something important that actually adds a lot of value to your life because it just takes away um, the negativity, the bad feelings, even trauma sometimes. There's some relationship friendships that really leaves you with like a lot of negative things and a lot of questions, things that you're like, I don't even know what happened. I
mhm,
seriously don't understand how that went so wrong.
mhm, mhm,
And those things, you pretend that you don't care, you pretend that you forgot about it, but you haven't. And they come creeping on you sometimes. And I think that it's really important when you're able to just, if you're going to end the relationship, to end it in the way that you feel okay, this is this is what we need to do for me, because I can't be in this relationship, and
mhm,
also for
mhm,
you because you don't deserve it, or
mhm.
whatever it is, whatever the situation is.
You don't deserve it.
You don't deserve to be going through this. uh, but whatever the situation is, and being able to talk to people and say, I'm hurt, I don't even know why, can we talk about it,
Mhm,
can we see how we can make it better, and then we don't have to deal with it anymore. And I think that adds a lot of value. It adds that friendship or that relationship back to your life, or it's just ends it and then you're good. You don't
mhm.
have to think about it anymore. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, and I definitely think like with what you're saying is like protecting your energy
Yes.
and making sure that you're able to set boundaries for yourself in
Hmm.
relationships. And this can be with family members, this can be, with children, this can be with anybody, parents, friends,
Yes.
relationships. It's, understanding that some people may suck your energy
Hmm.
and some people have negative energy, and that can manifest itself by, drowning your own energy. So you have to be very careful who you have in your circle, who are the people that are in your daily life, people that you spend time with. pay attention to those things, like when you're around certain people, like, do you question yourself? Are you doing things that are out of character for you? Do you
Yes,
feel like, this relationship is hurting you more than it's being positive for you? And you're going to have to learn to sit with that and question it and then figure out a solution, because those things in the long run can be very detrimental for your mental health and I think emotional health. So learning how to deal with those things is very important.
definitely agreed. And Jaquera, you just by doing that, asking yourself those questions, you're adding value to your life right there. Just
Hmm.
by asking yourself the different questions, because you are learning um, to know yourself better. You are learning to understand where that invisible line is for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
And in doing all of those things, you're adding value. You are making sure that you don't have to go through things unnecessarily,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that is amazing. Yes.
Another one that I would say is, making sure that you are doing things for other people as well. So, like, being in the presence of other people, helping other people. And this doesn't necessarily mean like money, like you can show somebody you care for them without buying them things. You can volunteer in certain places, you can give back to the community. There's so many different things, going to church and giving out stuff, helping people, donating stuff, even donating blood. It's such a small thing, but it helps like so many people, and those small little acts of kindness can add up to a lot of stuff over time. So they're very
Yes.
important, definitely. They add value.
I have heard a lot of people say, things like, I can't help people because I don't have enough, or, like I'm struggling. And when I hear people talk about that, I immediately go to, but what about everything else?
Hmm.
Not everybody needs money, even when
Hmm.
they think they do, right?
Hmm.
Money, we need it because we got to buy food and pay
Yeah.
rent and all of those things. But the most important things that people need are not money. People need to be able to talk to someone, especially in these times, right? Where the
Definitely.
world seems to be going crazy on us. Nobody understands what's happening. And so, especially right now, what people really need is time. 5 minutes to ask someone, how are you really doing? I know you said that you were okay, but how are you really doing? Because I noticed this and that. That is huge,
Mhm.
because someone, you might change someone's life in 5 minutes and you don't even know it. I read a post recently about this lady that has like a sticker on her car, and it says something, I don't remember the exact quote, but something along the lines of, if you're thinking about killing yourself today, today is not the day, or something like that. The point is that she has a store. Someone was thinking about ending their lives that day. They passed through the store and they stopped to buy something, and they saw the sticker. And then, like a month after, that person came back to her and said, like that person was sobbing, and she couldn't understand, like, well, what was wrong? What's happening? And they explained that, that day that I came by, it was like my last meal that I was going to have, because
Mm.
I already had a plan. I already had, I already knew and made that decision. And when I read that, and then I went in and I saw, your attitude, you didn't even know me and you were like so loving and caring, that changed the way I felt. I wasn't um, thinking that there were, I realized that there is good people still
Mhm.
here. And obviously the lady was just being herself. She wasn't doing anything special. She didn't know that
Right?
person. But when you read things like that, you it's really obvious how you don't need money to help people.
Mhm.
You, just by being yourself, just by being present and being there in the moment, so you can actually see when someone is telling you that they're fine, but why are you about to cry if you're okay? What,
I'm
what do
fine.
you mean?
I'm fine.
What do you mean? Just being there, right? And being able to listen to people and understand what they're saying without judging, that people feel like they can come to you
Mhm.
and talk about anything, or that's I think it, I think it's like a misconception. When people think about value, they go to money, and
Definitely.
I think that's like a problem, if you want to
Mhm.
call it a problem, because we miss doing all of the other stuff because we're thinking that this is the only way. This is, and I don't have it, so that means that there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
So I think that we got to start moving towards the other side of, and opening our minds to new possibilities.
I think a lot of it has to do with like the way here, I think, versus living in other countries, it's not as, I don't think they idealize money versus happiness. I think people find a balance, but here, like in the United States, I feel like it's like, the
There's
more
no
you
balance.
work, the more money you have, and the happier you will be, and you'll have the shiny cars and the big homes. And then, like when you think about it, like I know you had mentioned before, like all the celebrities, like,
Yeah, think about them. If money was so like the most important thing, they would be the happiest people alive. And
hmm,
I don't think they are. I
yeah,
mean, just observing them and knowing about, all the issues with like substance abuse and domestic violence, all these things. If money was the answer, they would be happy, and they're not happy. I'm
hmm,
not saying the money is not good. It's not about that. It's not about money being good or bad. It's about the value that you're putting into it
yeah. I think
and the things that you're not doing because of it.
I'm not sure. I read this or I saw this on TV or I watched it like on a video, but I was looking at like celebrities, and it said that Johnny Depp travels with his therapist.
Oh my God.
He travels with his therapist on set because his depression is so bad that he needs somebody to talk to him while he's making big movies. And so he has like somebody that he pays to be part of like his entourage who's his therapist. Um and
That is
like,
so sad.
yeah, like some of these celebrities, they talk about, um money, and then they talk about how being a celebrity is like one of the loneliest things ever, because you have this persona, you have all these people that love you, and you're not connected to the world like you want to be. You can't just go for a walk, you can't just do these normal things that everybody else can experience. um and the money just doesn't add,
It
you know.
doesn't. And I understand, like when we're little, we dream about, oh, what do you want to be? And we talk about, I want to be a policeman or a firefighter. And then we get to teenagers and they're like, I want to be rich. I want to have a mansion. I want
Want to
to
be a
be
TikToker.
that exactly. And I want this many views. And it is funny to hear them talking about that, but also sad at the same time, because obviously it is our jobs to help them understand, and perspectives and all of those things. But um just right when they're teenagers, you start to see how the value that they put on this materialistic things.
Hmm.
They see it on TV and they're like, hell yeah, I want to be there. I want to have that car. I want to have, all of those things. But nobody talks about the other side of it, the things that you don't have, the things that you can't buy. You
Hmm.
can't buy a best friend. That just
Hmm.
doesn't work that way. You can't buy your mom, you know? So those are the things I think that we got to foster, and we got to pay attention, and we got to find a way to show how, you know, we we can do all of these things for other people, and we don't have to include money in it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Think about it. You can give someone a gift that doesn't include you having to go out and buy something. You can make it. And that sounds, for some people, it might sound like,
You're like,
who
what?
wants, like, what are you trying to give me?
You
But
knit me socks?
I
What?
know. But sometimes, for me anyway, my husband and when we started going out, we always talked about the same thing, because for him it was really hard to buy me something because I would not be excited about a gift that he went to the store to buy. And it was really, for him, it was like, what am I supposed to, like, anybody would be happy with that. I'm like, yeah, but not me. You didn't
Mhm.
really do anything. You went somewhere, you picked something, and now you're bringing it to me, and you want me to act like, oh, this is so exciting. You didn't do anything, nothing. She just went somewhere. But when you take the time, to think about first, like, how am I going to make it worth it, right?
Mhm.
And how am I going to make it beautiful? How am I going to, like, you're putting your heart into it. That I appreciate,
Mhm.
because I know that it took time. I know that you had to sit down and really think about this. I'll take the other gifts. I'm not giving it back, but I'm not excited the same way,
Mhm. It's yeah.
because you're not putting time and energy into it. You're just buying it somewhere.
It's so true. It's so true.
Keep them coming, but I'm not excited.
I
I'm not gonna fake it.
know.
Ay,
Oh.
Shakira.
Another way, like in talking what you were just saying, like you figure out what are the things that are important to you, making sure that you are able to figure that out for yourself. So having the time to sit with yourself and see what are the important things in your life. Do you value, you know so one of the examples that I always give is like, sometimes you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to work these 10 extra hours because I'm going to have more money, and then this money is going to help my family, and then I can buy them what they want. But you're miserable, like you're stressed, you're not sleeping, you're irritable, and the people around you that you're doing this for, like you're making their life an impossible hell. So and
They're
it's like,
actually mad that you're bringing more money because
because you're not you, you're like a
exactly.
zombie and all this stuff. So it's like making sure that you understand, and sit down and have these discussions with the important people in your life. Like, what are the goals that we're working towards? Like, what is it that we want for our family? What is it that we want for our friendship? What is it that we want, in a month from now? Like, having
Yes.
these things that we can put concretely and know what we're working towards is so valuable,
Mm-hmm.
because you have a purpose, and
Yes.
you once you have something that you're working towards, then you feel like you're accomplishing things, and that's always important. Like, as humans, I feel like we live that life where we always feel like we have to accomplish something, you know
And we don't in real life. Like, I seriously don't understand where we get that from. But we don't have to anything. You do what you do,
mhm,
and it's
mhm.
fine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then, just making sure that we're understanding, what it is that we're working towards, whether it could be like, I want to relax more this month.
Yes.
I want to pay my bills, which is good. And I want to make sure that I have enough a little in savings, but I want to be able to go for a walk 3 times a week and make sure I have time for that. I want to make sure that, each night I play a board game with my kids and spend that time with them. And these are things that are really important, and they're important to me, and they may be important to you or not, but you
Mm-hmm.
figure out what is important for your life, and we just have to make sure that we understand these things.
I just had a thought, hearing you explain that. You know how, like, the regular way that life goes in the United States anyway is that, you spend your childhood and your youngest years going to school preparing for this, important job that you're going to be doing. then you do that important job for, most of your life, hoping that when you're old and you don't have energy to do that job anymore, you're going to have all this money to go to Miami and be happy, right?
Have that
And
yacht. Yeah.
exactly, with all this fancy champagne and, strawberries and stuff. So that sounds like a dream life. But I've always had a problem with that. To me, it's not a good plan. What if you die before you access all this money and you're able to go to Miami? What happens then? You just
Mhm.
did all of these things for nothing, basically, because you, you're not gonna be in Miami. Somebody else is gonna be. Maybe your kids. They never worked. Doesn't matter. Now they go to Miami, with
Yeah.
the ladies. But think about that. If you were able to balance all of that, I'm not saying go crazy with it,
Hmm.
right? But if we're able to balance that in a way that we are working, this really important job, but at the same time we're able to do all of these other things, pay attention to how what the kids are talking about, even
Hmm.
having a conversation. Sometimes in my personal life, I have noticed how I haven't really had a conversation with my people that live here with me, like in 2 days. We're seeing each other, we
Hi,
have
bye.
talked to each
All
other,
right.
but I haven't really had a conversation.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know what my kid is in this week. He changes every week. Now it's planets. Have I talked to him about planets again? And even if it's the same conversation back and forth, same thing, same thing, same thing, it is valuable. It's time that you're spending with them.
Hmm.
They're thinking that they're telling you, this really huge thing that you don't know about. And it's amazing because that's the only thing that you have at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All the money in the bank is gonna be at the bank, and they don't even understand what that means. I
But
really, I really thought when I was little, I really thought that there was like a tree of money. And I'll tell you why. My mom's fault. Every time I would ask for things, like, oh, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, she would say something like, oh, do you think that money grow in a tree? And to me, that was like not a question and more like, you know,
a fact.
this is how it goes. But where is the tree? I never saw the tree, but I knew that she had money, and she will
Hmm.
always mention the tree, so it must be somewhere.
That's so funny.
So as far as I know, there's a tree somewhere full of money,
Hmm.
and my kids probably think the same thing.
Probably.
So for them, so for them,
Amazon.
we're yeah, we go to the backyard and we find money. They don't care. They don't care if we pay the bills. They don't understand what it is. The only thing that they care about is, mommy was here when before I went to sleep, reading a story or whatever it is that you do. Um, and again, those things, there's no money included, right?
Time is not money for them. Nope. Yeah.
It's just your presence, you being there in the present moment,
Hmm.
talking about
Definitely.
whatever it is that you talk about. You know. So I think that is something to think about
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we can go on and on and on
forever.
and on about this topic, right? We might have to do a part two sometime
Yes,
in the
yes,
future. Uh, but like we've been talking about, value is a key that opens many doors, and you have to set some time to reflect on these things and how do you add value in the lives of other people, and how do those other people add value into your life as well. I think those are like the two main points, right?
yes.
um so yeah.
Keep the value growing.
Exactly.
So everybody, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Living as Latinas. You can also follow us on Instagram, and the name is also Living as Latinas. We have an email. If there is any topics that you're interested in hearing us talk about, you can email us at livingaslatinas@gmail.com, and we'll talk about them. And in the meantime, enjoy your week, and remember to always be kind to others. Please. Bye.
Bye.